recent trip to Ghana, I was inspired to visit Elmina Castle, a UNESCO World Heritage Site that served as the first holding post for slaves during the transatlantic slave trade. So come join me as we walk into and showcase a dark part of history.
Growing up and then going back to my roots and asking questions actually brought me to another side of the story that is never told, whereby my people were actually in the course of selling their own people. So then I come back home and I'm like, okay, I'm blaming the other side, but my people are also part of this whole process, how we ended up here in the first place.
Exactly. Chattel slavery is one of the worst atrocities that has been committed amongst mankind. But did our tribal leaders in that time, when they're trading for goods and services and money, did they realize they're selling their people off? And had they known, would they still have contributed to this part of history?
In 50th centuries, an Englishman called John Hickson was an Englishman. He managed to capture 3 Africans himself. Sold them for ginger and sugar in the Caribbean. One day for sugar and ginger. So he saw the system be very dangerous for him. So he came back and influenced the chiefs or the leaders. And they created enmity among African countries. There's a misunderstanding. So I seem to be my enemies. You also seem to be your enemies. So when it happens that we fight, let's say you are the defeated, you and your group, I can decide, okay, to bring to the whites, take some guns to kill my brothers and sisters. So they knew through war before they can get more stress. So they brought this kind of misunderstanding.
Conflict, divide and conquer.
Yeah, divide and conquer.
Yeah.
Now go straight to the
it's becoming like a world.
So during the tour, I bear witness to seeing torture chambers, a holding cell for women and men that were raped and sodomized, shackles and chains that ultimately brought me to tears, wondering how a human race can commit such crimes against humanity.
This is both of our first time being here, and we're both crying of the same experience. What is the hardest part for you in processing this? And particularly I'm asking because of someone who's not of African descent. What is your immediate, I guess, feeling?
Hate for the people, for my own people, for doing things like this. It makes me disgusted and ashamed. That's why. For treating people that way. And you can feel it and you can smell it. And it's horrible. To imagine, especially women, because I'm a woman, to sleep in everything that comes from their body, and it's horrible. Horrible.
Yeah.
So I left Elmina believing that this dark past of history was behind us and that it would never repeat itself. But just as late as November 14th in 2017, we are still talking about and having an issue with modern day slavery. So the question I wonder is why?